Crear un libro es un hecho de paz y una oportunidad para que nuevas historias, otras historias, lleguen a los territorios más afectados por el conflicto armado y la inequidad en Colombia.
Todas y todos podemos ayudar a que la paz se siga escribiendo en el Bajo Cauca, en el Catatumbo, en el Pacífico Nariñense, en el Chocó y en el Guaviare. Territorios que sufren graves tragedias a causa de la violencia armada.
Únete y dona un libro nuevo o en perfecto estado para que el poder transformador de la lectura llegue a los niños y niñas, jóvenes y adultos de las zonas que más lo necesitan.
Bienvenidos a la Feria Internacional del Libro de Bogotá. Imaginemos y vivamos juntos esta historia.
So, welcome to all of the readers. We are very happy to be here in the most important Colombian book fair, Filbo, Feria Internacional del Libro de Bogotá. Today, we are accompanied by a super guest, which I'm super thrilled and honored to present. Her name is Tonya Hurley. She is an American writer, also a director for television and movies, which is very, very cool. So Tonya, if you want, you can start telling the readers that don't know you yet a little bit about yourself, please. We'd really like to know who is that woman behind the trilogy of Blessed, Ghost Girl, and obviously this novelty, which we are here to speak about today, Feather Girl.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. And I really wish I could be there in person because I love this festival so much. I had such a great time in Bogota the last time I was there, and it was a memory I'll never forget, and I loved meeting everybody. So hopefully maybe next year we'll all be safe and healthy and able to do that.
Yes, of course. We're always waiting for you here with open arms.
I'll come anytime I'm invited. I love it. Yeah, I mean, I started with the Ghost Girl series in 2008 and the 3 books, and then went to the Blessed. And I came there for the Blessed, actually, to present the first book. And now I'm here with Feather Girl, which is really a dark fairy tale I always wanted to write about birds and a girl's strange relationship with birds. And just to talk about how someone who is born different can, thrive in the world. I wanted to write a fairy tale about that. Sort of in the line of, in the vein of Coraline, a one-off kind of fairy tale. And so I got to do that thanks to Penguin and Random House.
Yeah, because I'm sorry?
I really hope the readers like it.
Well, I loved it. I must say that it was very particular, reading about a bird. You might be able to appreciate wings in other stories, but usually they come from angels or vampires, or bats even. So it was very, very nice to see birds in one way or another being able to be presented as partly human as well, which is a contrast that you make in the story when you say that birds aren't really much different from humans, which I thought was also very, very beautiful, because a lot of people think that birds are actually really dumb, but they're not. They're very intelligent, and they even mourn, and a whole bunch of other things. So speaking a little bit about your first 2 books, the trilogy and the book, they weren't yet published with Penguin. So this third, Feather Girl, is. And I want to know, now will we be able to receive the Blessed? Because I see that like on a part of the book, they're recommending it. So it would be wonderful for us to also receive these titles.
Yeah, I mean, I would love that. That's up to the publisher. I do get lots of angry messages on Instagram that they're
I
not there.
I
And
would think so.
yeah, I just keep apologizing. But yeah, I mean, that would be great if that happened. I'm sure there are some faithful readers out there that would appreciate that. They're like, how does it end? I don't even know how it ends.
Yeah, I'd really like to get into those readings as well. And I want to know, is this book just gonna be one, or are you
Yes.
gonna make a saga? Okay.
It's a one-off dark fairy tale, like I said. It's something I always wanted to do. Yeah, no
Since
saga.
the 5th grade or before that?
Since the 5th grade. I think it was
Yeah,
5th
because
grade.
I read that one of your teachers was the inspiration for you to create this story in regards to birds.
Yes,
right?
yes, she was. She taught us all about birds, and we got to have our own like homing pigeon. And
Yeah.
I just became obsessed with birds. Like when my pigeon came back to me like a week later, I was like, oh my God, just, it came back to me. The whole class let pigeons, but they knew where to go, to which person. And I was like, wow, they're so smart. I wouldn't remember somebody if I met them a week ago, briefly. I mean, to know their face and to know how to get back to them. Anyway, it just became, I just started studying birds, bird watching and stuff like that. And I'm really into art and the colors on birds and they're just little pieces of art flying around us. And they also have so much meaning attached to us. So much meaning attached to them in folklore and legends, and how people believe that birds fly between worlds. They fly between the afterlife and between our world realms. They carry the souls of the deceased through open windows and to heaven, some people believe. There's so many great legends. And once you get researching them, like, you can't stop, because it's just so cool. Every country they kind of believe the same thing, but there's a different twist everywhere. So yeah, once I started doing that, and of course the lake in Tanzania, which I based the story on, where the birds, it's a reflective surface, the water.
Yeah.
And it's draws the birds to the reflective surface, and they instantly calcify because the alkaline level is so high. So they become just these living statues. And I looked up, there's a photographer that set up the birds as if they were, just calcified on the edge of the shore. And it was so eerie and creepy, the visuals. And you can Google it. It's Lake in Tanzania bird statues. If you Google that, you will see the images, and they stay with you, they haunt you. And I said, I have to write about this lake. And that's when the birds kind of thing, my bird background, I guess, my fascination with birds, and coming up with a story about the lake of tears, which I renamed it, but came together.
It was important for me to ask you this because I feel that the readers will be able to obtain a bit more of an idea as to why you decided to, focus on birds in this specific book, because the others were so different, so I wanted them to also see that perspective. I think that it's both sad and tragic, but at the same time majestic how they, remained, maybe not thanks to Dahlia, but am I saying her name correct in English?
Yes.
Okay. Because what she did was actually artsy, but it was very sad because she didn't really want to do that. But inside herself, she was fighting constantly with these two, being a good person and being, the vengeance type of person that wanted to get back what she wanted to get back. But I'm not going to say that yet because I want to speak a little bit about precisely the characters. I want you to tell us a little bit about Ren, I want you to tell us about Hen, about Margot. You
Mhm.
know, I feel that you maybe have a lot of affinity with Hen because of the fact that he was always in the midst of, you know, the science and
Mhm.
like the mystic information. So I want you to tell us a little bit about how you decided to create the characters, how you decided to create this family, just a little bit about all of them.
Yeah, I mean, I just, it's sort of like they live in this kind of Addams Family type house where there are, you know, bird taxidermy everywhere. And, you know, it's called the bird house by the locals because it's so creepy. But, you know, Ren grew up with this. She grew up with the bodies of birds around her. So she doesn't see it any different. And she has a strange relationship with birds. I don't know how much I should give away or not, but she has a strange relationship with birds that you find out later why she has this relationship with them. And her father is a professor of birds, and her mother is also in the bird, you know, in the bird business.
Field,
Yeah,
literally.
the field.
Maybe not so.
And so it's, you know, very bird kind of heavy. And and her grandfather is someone who, like you said, teeters on kind of science versus the mystical. And her Bren's father does not like that about him at all. And you know, his daughter, he has every right to kind of feel this way because you find out that his daughter Margot, who is Bren's mother, why he believes what he believes because of her situation and her need to be believed and rescued in a way. And that's where Ren goes on a getting signals from birds, getting these weird signals from birds. It leads her to kind of this journey where she has to be brave and save her mother at the end. And all while dealing with a very big
maybe not.
plot twist in the middle of her journey. And
So
you know, it's like
all the way here.
That's right. It's like when you know, you need your mother in those big kind of events in life.
Yeah.
And when you don't have your mother, you have to find the strength within yourself to make it through these hard times. And that's something also that I'm interested in the people out there who are motherless or who feel motherless, who don't, maybe they have a mother, but they can't rely on her the way that other people can. And so they have to find the strength within themselves. And that's certainly what Ren has to do on her journey.
I feel that for the most part, Ren's dad was always very like not open to the topic about Margot and, you know, what was happening to Ren, or, you know, in general terms, not only about this specific part, which you and I know and the others readers know, but in general, like she was bullied a lot. And I feel that even though he kind of knew, he would just not pay attention to that. And that happens a lot today.
Closed-minded kind of people like that act the way they do out of fear, because they, you know, facts are facts and you can't dispute the facts. So they find a kind of predictability in that. And there are a lot of people like that out there who don't believe in the mystical. And so he's afraid deep down.
Okay. Yeah,
and that's
no,
why
that's
he
what I was
needs
gonna
to,
say.
yeah.
No, go ahead, go ahead.
No, that's why he needs to kind of feel this sense of control with facts and knowledge. He has a daughter that he's raising by himself. He doesn't really have the relationship with the daughter with Ren that Margot had with Ren.
Right.
And so they have to kind of learn how to be a family without the biggest part of the family that was Margot, the mother. So he doesn't quite know how to do that.
And I was gonna mention that because I feel that a lot of parents today maybe don't know how to communicate with their children in regards to some things that happen. And I am totally agreeing with you when you say that it's fear. And I think that this book also has a little bit of like an opening, maybe for the kids to also realize that once they do speak up and let their parents know what's actually going on, because Ren does it, you know, partially, maybe not completely, but she does do it at some point. Then he's open too, you know, although he fears what the outcome may be or how she might feel. I think that's also very, very cool that you like introduce that in such a subtle way, because sometimes, you know, anybody could just need like that message of, hey, you know, if you speak up, maybe you can sort some things out that
Right.
you thought couldn't be solved, you know. So I think that
She
that was
never
very
knew
cool.
she could go to her dad with anything like that because of the way he you know, he always was.
Yeah.
So
So the ring. Why this particular object to make stand out when the pigeons go on this particular day that a lot of things start occurring?
yeah, well, it was a way to kind of I wanted the birds to bring her gifts because they also, it's their queen, and also she hates them. And also, you know, it's just so complicated, her relationship with them. She'll call on them when she needs them.
Yeah.
But other than that, she wants them to leave her alone. Like, she doesn't want to have anything to do with them because she resents them, because her parents, you know, were so obsessed with birds, and she felt maybe left out a little bit of their kind of work they do with the birds. So so the ring that comes back to her, that special ring, she finds there's a big meaning in that ring, and I don't know if I should give it away, but that's what propels her on her journey. She finds out who this ring belonged to, and she goes and tries to solve the big mystery of her and her family's life through finding this ring.
Which is your favorite character?
Ren. I mean, she's so brave, and I mean, can you imagine something happening to you like that, and then carrying on and trying to? She's just so strong and brave, and she's, like I said,
Doesn't even know it.
Yeah, she doesn't even know it. She just does what she has to do, and she was born feeling different, and for very good reason. You know, it's like it's all in your head. It's this and that. Oh, stop complaining, Ren. But there's a big reason that you find out why she has always felt different. She is different. And her mother, and through this journey, she finds out that, you know, you're born different, but don't let people around you make what makes you different, make it ugly. Don't let them make it ugly. You're different. Celebrate that. Use it. That's what makes you you and different. So that's the main message, I think, of the book. And that's why I love Ren.
And who do you mostly hate?
I don't know if I hate anyone in this book, because I created a villain that
wasn't really a villain.
Right.
Or was she?
She started out, I think, definitely a villain.
Yeah.
But I think with every mean person in this world, every closed down person, every selfish person, there's a reason why they act the way they do. Something happened to them. And if you take the time and figure out what happened to them, which Ren does, you can communicate with them and kind of come to a common place. Like, oh, I understand. You were treated this way when you were young. I understand why you're acting like this, but that's my mother I need to save. Like Ren, you know, then you can open up kind of a discussion and understand each other in your actions. I love villains that you sympathize with. you know, and
Yeah, I did that.
I'm gonna
I
say
did
like
that.
someone like Hannibal Lecter, who is, you know, the worst of the worst. But there are
Yeah,
some scenes where you're like, I hope
poor guy.
yeah, I like him, you know. You're like, what? Am I crazy? But you're kind of like, when he talks to Clarice, you're like, oh, she gets to talk to, you know, Dr. Lecter. You know, it's like, you kind of, it's just, it's, I think that's a real skill in writing. And I
Yeah,
tried to do it. I don't know if I succeeded, but I think it's
you
a
did.
real skill to be able to add some sympathy and to your villains, and some three-dimensional, you know, things attached to them, feelings.
No, and I think that you did just that because at some point when she was telling her story, you know, we're not gonna get too much into that. I kind of felt bad too, and when Ren started crying and she asked her, "Hey, are you feeling bad for yourself or for me?" You know, that
Mhm.
was kind of harsh, and it was kind of crude at the same time because I, you know, thought to myself like, wow, this person has gone through so much that she's gotten up to a point where she literally like pretends that she doesn't feel, even though very much so inside she still might, you know.
Mhm.
And she was sad also about what she was doing to Ren, you know, but
Mhm.
we won't get too much into that because we'll have spoilers. You guys have to read the book. But you know, in regards to what you do like on a daily basis, I know that you co-produced one of my favorite shows when I was a teenager. Um yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I actually remember the theme song and everything, which is so funny. I was telling Martha before we got into the interview. How do you feel about maybe making once again an audio visual, you know, reproduction like you did with Ghost Girl about Feather Girl or maybe about The Blessed? Have you thought about it? Is it in your plans?
You mean a TV or film kind of thing?
Yeah, or
Yeah.
maybe just or something for Netflix. Like, have you thought about the idea or?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, Ghost Girl's taken forever to get made, and it's been so close that I couldn't say anything, and I'm almost glad I couldn't, because this business is insane, with all the streaming services and everything. But yeah, I mean, Ghost Girl again is very close to something, to a few things actually, that I hope I can announce soon. And I think once that happens finally, maybe I will, you know, be able to do something with The Blessed and Feather Girl. But I mean, I have a script written for The Blessed for TV. So I would love to, love to get that out. Even, you know, Netflix, um, the Spanish version of Netflix or something like that, I would be completely open to it, because I've always, I mean, this whole market, the Spanish market, is so much more open and creative, in my opinion.
Oh, okay, cool.
Um,
Thank you.
yeah,
That's
and
amazing.
I prefer to write for that reader and market, because
Okay.
of the creativity and the, willing to go on these wild rides. And I don't know. I mean, I feel like it's where it's at for me. And I love going to Mexico. I love Spain. I love Colombia. I tour there every chance I get, explore, whatever I can. And I just, I get so much inspiration from these countries.
People might not know this about you, but I was doing my reading. You know, I was very applied and I did some research.
Your homework.
Yeah, I did it. I was very good with that. No, also because I really became fan when I started reading your biography and I read this, you know, so I was like, oh my gosh, I used to love that show. I can't believe she did that. You know, it was so cool for me, like fan moment, totally.
Uh-huh.
And then I read some other really cool stuff about how you were also part of the music industry and you got to represent, you know, such great and wonderful, amazing talents like Prince. So I wanted to ask you, at what point in your life did you say, hey, I'm Tonya, you know, the musical publicist, but I'm also the writer, but I'm also the director? Like, how does this such amazing being, combine all of these cool things at the same time?
Yeah, well, I that's a great question, because I've always done like film and writing and stuff on the side, my own stuff. I love music. I mean, I was in bands in high school, and when I moved to New York City, I played drums.
What instrument did you play?
Drums.
Oh, cool.
Drums, and my
I was
twin
in
sister.
orchestra, played the violin.
Oh, I love the violin. My twin
love the
sister
drums, very
played
cool.
bass. Yeah, so
Cool.
we were in like a lot of punk bands and stuff. And but I always made little short films, and I studied film in college along with music and writing. So I love having things to switch, to kind of, if I
So
come
they
up
were
with an
always a part
idea.
of one. They
Yeah,
were never separate.
right, that's right. And if you can see it in the first Ghost Girl book, I mean, I use all like music lyrics, and it's all about music, really. But I just feel like if you come up with an idea and like, oh, would this make a good song, or would this make a good film, or would this make a good book? The idea is first with me, and then I kind of figure out, where it would fit best. I mean, but obviously writing
That's
books
so
is
cool.
what I love.
So you have like one idea that can be channeled culturally 3 different ways. That's awesome. That's so cool.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like, with the, like, my book trailers, with the Ghost Girl Lovesick trailer, and I did one for Comic-Con, stop motion, and the Blessed trailers, for Passionaries and the Blessed. It's just, I love filmmaking. So if I can come up with an idea, write a book, make a trailer, I'm like satisfying all my, write a song to go with the trailer, which I did for Lovesick. I'm satisfying like everything I love to do in different phases, and I don't get bored.
And at what point in time did you realize that the plot for Feather Girl, which is our reason to be here today, had to be or had to share part of New Orleans? I thought that was also very cool. I love, all of this like topic on witchery and Marie Laveau and all of this stuff. I feel that it's a very important part of, the world, even if some people, as we were speaking before, say that it doesn't exist, et cetera, which is totally, respectful. We don't judge that, but I think that stuff is pretty cool. And you introduced it in like a very cool way, because it wasn't like too much information, but it always left you like on a cliffhanger, so you were always like, whoa, what's gonna happen with this woman that's reading her the cards? Why doesn't she want to keep up reading her poems? All of this stuff. So it's like, I want you to tell me a little bit about that too, and why Maine also, like the specific parts of the book.
Well, I actually I spent every summer for the last 20 years in Maine. So, and Maine is very rich in kind of nature and birds and everything. I mean, it's a beautiful place. And I really wanted to set a book in Maine, and Stephen King lives there.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Didn't know
Stephen
that.
King lives there. I have a picture of me in front of his house on my Instagram. It's a very cool house. He has like a bat fence, and yeah.
So wicked.
Yeah. So yeah, I love Maine. And it's just very rich in storytelling and things. And as for New Orleans, it's sort of the capital of like, that kind of mystical voodoo, tarot, things like that. And it's fascinating to me in any
Don't lie to me,
storyteller.
Tonya. But don't lie to me. Part of that is your musical side as well, because as we all know, jazz and blues originate from, in a great part. So don't you try to sneak that away from me, because I saw that.
That's right.
But also because I love jazz.
Yeah, it's a great city. It's a great city
never
with
been.
everything. Well, we'll
So
have
with
to go.
part of your description with the female singer that was, waiting for Ren to basically get there. you created such an image in my head that I felt that I was there partially. So thank you for that as well.
Oh,
Thank you
that
for
means a lot to me.
all of the.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. So I think we've done a pretty good job about not giving up spoilers. I
It's
think
very hard for me with
yeah.
in particular with this book. I don't know. It's just so much that I can't say that I want to say.
No, but it's okay. It's okay because I also wanted to make the precise questions so that
Mhm.
we could
You
persuade
did a
them,
great
the ones
job.
that have. Oh, thank you. No,
Yes,
thank you.
you did a
I'm
great job.
honored to be here with you. I really am. I'm so privileged that aside from my job, which I love, sometimes I get the spaces to, share with the authors as a journalist because I'm your press officer, so I have to handle all of these things that are like in regards to publishing articles.
And how
But then
cool
when
is
it's
it
me,
for me to have someone with super cool hair that plays the violin representing me in the press? Come on. I'm the lucky one.
I am honored. This is why when you come to Colombia, we have to go out and
We have to
have a
go
little
out.
cup of coffee, the most Colombian things that you can do, I will take you to do, which I
Thank you.
appreciate your readers here will enjoy as
I
well.
did go to the Salt Cathedral when I was there.
Oh, in
That was
Tipaquirá.
really cool. I bought a whole bunch of rosaries and I gave them away for the blessed back here in the States. Everyone loved them. Made of the
And what did they think
seeds of
about
the
that?
trees on top that grow on top. So beautiful. Yeah.
So what did your friends say about that? Like you were literally underground or?
Yeah. They were like, oh my God, did you have a panic attack down there? And I'm like, yeah, a few, but but it's
Okay,
just
cool. That's
so
so
cool. It's just nobody even knew this place existed. That's why I
Yeah.
love to travel and come back and tell people in my stories about things like this. Yeah. So, and I wrote about it for the Huffington Post. I just loved it.
Yeah, actually, that was one other question that I meant to ask you. What are I haven't read your articles yet, haven't had the privilege, but I will after this interview. I want to know what you write about in the Washington Post. Like, do you just write about trips in general, or?
Yeah, whenever I go on book tours, I write about things I experience in that country. And it's just like the Spanish kind of countries. I write a lot about Mexico, Day of the Dead. My editor there and publisher was so generous to send me on that trip to the islands, to the lake and crossing the lake, and it was just insane. It was a night of my life I will never, ever, ever, never forget. So just things that I encounter, hoping that my readers here in the US or around the world might see some of these things and want to go to Mexico and, Colombia and Spain and witness some of these amazing things that happen in these countries that they see the news and they might not feel they can go to these countries. And
Yeah.
and I keep saying it's safer there than it is here.
Another reason to thank you because you're changing the perspective about how Latin America is viewed, and from a person that's right next to the other person saying, hey buddy, I can go, you can go too, is really cool because sometimes people are very, returning back to Ren's father, people sometimes are very afraid, to take that first step and to go look for something or to go find something else, which
even fellow authors that I work with, are trepidatious about. I'm like, no, you have to go. It will change your life. I mean, the people, what you get to see, what you get to experience. I mean, I'm trying to, show another side of these incredible countries. But anyway,
amazing. I will do some reading. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, it's just now with the pandemic, hopefully, we'll get back to it soon. I miss everyone.
Hopefully. Yeah, I do too. I do too. And I also want to travel. We are obviously always waiting for you here with our opened arms.
Aww.
I think this has been a wonderful, wonderful chat. I'm sure that the readers will enjoy it.
And the great questions. Thank you.
No, Tonya, thank you. And not, wanting to finish this chat because I don't. I wish I could stay here forever with Tonya. Thank you for everybody that was connected today. We hope you enjoyed the interview, and
Yes,
please
thank you,
continue to
everyone.
enjoy.
Love to
Cita,
everybody.
if you want to say a message to your Colombian readers, Tonya, now is the time.
Yes, I miss you guys, and you can find me on Instagram or Twitter. I love hearing from you, and I want to hear how you like the book and what you think about it. And just please contact me, and we'll be together soon, I hope. Stay safe and healthy,
The
please.
book is now available in Colombia, Busca Libre, Panamericana, Librería Nacional, and other websites. You can always go to penguinlibros.com/co. And until next time, bye.
Bye.
Martica.